Good to know. Good afternoon, Liz. How are you doing?
Hey Edie, I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. I am so excited to have you on today. We're going to be talking about how a wealth management planner can help you with your second homes in college towns, help to pay for your college students' housing, maybe even make some money. So I wanted to bring Liz on. Her name's Liz Sullivan, and she's with Murphy and Sylvester. She is my personal planner as well, so she's amazing. So I, can't say enough. But I do want to ask her a few questions and maybe help you guys out with how to do this. How are you doing today?
Good, good. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to talk to you a little bit more. I think this is such a great underserved kind of market that I want to talk to you about it a little bit more because it definitely comes up in the planning process as we're preparing to send kids off to school. So talking about this a little bit more, we can kind of go through some of the ins and outs that people would face.
That's awesome. Can you tell me a little bit about your history and about Murphy and Sylvester?
Yeah, so I've been in the financial services industry since 2020. I've been part of Ameriprise Financial before I transitioned into the independent space. And now I work with Murphy and Sylvester Wealth Management. We are a small boutique firm out of Dallas. We focus on helping small business owners and clients, specifically with a military focus, military background. We're a very military friendly firm. But yeah, and we are always out and about in the community and in Dallas. So it's nice to have our wings expanded through out to Lubbock, where you are, Edie, and all across Texas.
Well, we're excited to have you. So, and to answer that question, you can cover anywhere, correct?
Yes, we can work anywhere. We're registered with the SEC. One of the great things about Murphy and Sylvester Wealth Management is we are independent and we are fiduciaries. So that means we're legally obligated to act in the best interest of our clients. So that's another key thing.
The goal to Campus Nest Investing is to bring people from out of states, other states that are bringing their kids, or even kids that are people that are here and sending their kids to other states. You can handle those other states, correct?
Absolutely. We've got clients all across the United States, kids going every direction, as I'm sure you can imagine. So we're not unfamiliar with that.
All right, well, let's just dive right in. So, my first question, and you can just do this however as bullet point or however you want to do it, but it's, however you want to answer it is
Yeah.
how would you prepare to purchase an investment property?
Well, I think that's a great question. And I think that, as you're preparing to send your kids off to school, what does that look like? Really, what we want to say is make sure that you define your investment goals. Really kind of determine, are we looking for rental income? Is my child going to have roommates? Are we going to put multiple children in the house? Or are we looking for long-term capital appreciation? Is this a buy and hold kind of situation where we're going to keep this for maybe potentially longer than the life of my college student, and we're going to continue to rent this after the child has left? That's something to really think about when we think about this type of piece. The other piece too is really assessing your financial readiness, meaning what's my current credit score? What's my debt to income ratio? All of those things, Edie, I think you can kind of speak to more as, the real estate person in this, of what do we need to have ready in terms of funds for a down payment, closing costs. Do we need renovations? Do we want to renovate in a college town? What do we want to put into these homes? And really make sure, one, that you're connecting with all the appropriate parties to make sure that you're ready to go in that kind of element. And then the great thing too is there's college towns all around Texas. There's college towns all around the United States. And really, you want to make sure that you're conducting your market research, meaning what is the market? What's the rental demand? What's the potential for appreciation? And what are the favorable economic conditions? And work with Edie again to get, comps, making sure that you're looking in the right areas, making sure that you understand the neighborhood amenities that you're putting your child into.
That's where in other states we're going to be working. We will have a network of realtors that we will be able to refer
Right.
to that will go through and be vetted very, to make sure that they are for that, know all that area and know exactly that information. So here in Lubbock,
Yes.
absolutely all day long. I've got myself, San Antonio, Austin, I've got that covered. We've got a bunch covered in Texas already, but we will be expanding out nationwide.
That's great. That's great. And, really, I mean, my last point would just be, again, building that support network, working with Edie. Edie's got a built out support network, a built in element of experts, real estate agents, mortgage brokers, property inspectors, any attorneys. You really want to make sure, especially if you're renting, you've got the appropriate rental contracts, rental language in there, to make sure that you're working through kind of, is this a friend? Is this a contract? You want to make sure that things are inked out appropriately for your children.
Okay. So, the support, yes, that's huge. And that's one of the things that, we're not building out so fast is because we want to make sure we have all those resources at each area before we build out a place. I've already had people reach out
Right.
to me and said, what about this college? And I'm going to work on it. I just don't have it right now, but let me get somebody that can help you. I can still refer, but I might not have all your resources together yet because I don't want to jump the gun on putting those resources in those towns out there before we have everything. That's why
Right.
that's why I appreciate you being able to be my nationwide investment advisor because I that's my first step is having the wealth planning in place first. So yes.
And that's the piece too, is like when we think about how are we preparing for kids going to college? I saved all this money into a 529. How do I deploy the funds out of this account the right way? Am I using them for qualified expenses? What are qualified expenses? That's a very nuanced place. And if you have questions about it, definitely work with your financial advisor on that piece. Because going to college, it's not like it happens every day. It's definitely something that you're preparing for over time. So work with that network of professionals.
Absolutely. All right. So I've got one more question for you because these are pretty detailed questions and
Yeah,
we don't want to give away the whole thing. We want people to call us. So
that's
anyway,
right. That's right. Give
what
us a
are the
call.
give us a call. What are the advantages to investing in a Texas college town?
Oh gosh. Obviously I'm biased. I went to school in Texas, so Texas college towns are where it's at, but really the college towns that we see, they really have a strong rental market, specifically right around the universities. Um, the great news is kids keep coming in and kids keep graduating, so there's always a need for housing. Um, Texas is a great place for people to go to school and people continue to want to come here. So maybe on-campus housing isn't a right fit for everyone. If you have the option to live off campus, you may be able to purchase a home, rent it for the long run, and really be able to maintain residence and not have to worry about the downtime of vacancy. The other piece too is that some of these college towns are really much more affordable than some of the urban areas in Texas. This isn't so much, inner city Dallas. This isn't, that type of stuff. But some of these college towns have an element of affordability that we don't see in the really urban, dense areas. And it makes it accessible for investors to enter the market and expand their portfolio without breaking the bank. The other piece too, really, when we talk about Lubbock and areas that you're in, is that there's so much economic stability in these types of towns. They're driven by, healthcare industries, oil and gas, agriculture, really big kind of industries that we would say are very, cushioned. I don't even want to say cushioned, but there's a lot of demand for these things and they're not going anywhere. And because of that, the city will be resilient during a downturn, the city sticks together, and those investors are really focused on long-term investment prospects, which is what these rental properties are. And again, we go back to property appreciation. Really, even though Lubbock has, college towns, the city is growing. I mean, Edie, you can talk about it. It's growing so
Right.
much, so much. And
Mm.
with the ongoing infrastructure improvements and things like that, your properties will continue to appreciate over time. And then last but not least, and I don't want to jump into a place that isn't my wheelhouse, but Texas really does have favorable landlord laws, meaning that the state skews more favorably to landlords and people that are investors in these properties as opposed to favoring the renter. Again, get with your real estate agent, call us, talk about it a little bit more, because the the perks that we have to being a landlord in Texas can really benefit you in the long run.
So I have one last question, and it
Yeah.
came, during this. So everybody always asks, this is in I'm kind of biased because I'm a real estate agent. I sell real estate. So when they ask me this, I'm like, well, yes, it's better to buy real estate. Real estate's not going anywhere. Land's not going anywhere. And in Texas, it is constantly. I was told by a mortgage officer just the other day that we are still on average of 10% appraisal values of raising every 10% every year,
Right.
which is huge because most states are anywhere between 3 and 5%. And
Yeah.
Texas went up to almost 15% during the last few years. We have calmed back down, but we are still climbing. We're not losing. We're not California. We don't lose value. That being said, that question comes up all the time. Is it smart to invest in real estate? And you're a
I think
financial planner, so I want to hear it coming from the horse's mouth here.
that's right. That's right. I think that when we focus on building out a client's investment portfolio, we look at the entire pie. And we can see clients that potentially maybe have too much of one sector, too much of another. And we really do believe that there is a piece for real estate in everyone's portfolio. Obviously, getting all of the caveats out, it is, not liquid, but the capital appreciation that comes from that, if your financial profile can support real estate in it, it's a great place to invest. It's a great place to invest, have money and cash flow a little bit, and diversify outside of the stock market, outside of the bond market. It's a great way to kind of round out the pie.
Also depends on what your ability to keep it going. If you're going to manage it, if you're going to have a manager, property manager to do it. I mean, there's a lot of things that go in that. There's a lot of people's ability to manage property is very, very short and very small. And that's where you start looking at, okay, well, you need a property manager to take care of that. And then some people prefer, they've got the capacity to maintain their own places and handle the nightly phone calls and all that good stuff. So that we
And
take
that
that into consideration as well.
And that piece too, I mean, everything you're saying, that's when we say, call us. There's so many elements of this because, maybe we're buying something that maybe at the top end of the budget, but we've got to layer in a management company. That might not be the best fit. But if you think you can manage it yourself, we can analyze these cash flows for you to make sure that we're staying within the plan. The other piece here too is that hopefully for your kid that is in and out of college in 4 years, and that's great if they are, and sometimes maybe they're not.
Mine was
What
5.
is exactly? My brother was 5 too. So,
Well, she was
but
an
part of it
athlete. I don't think she really had a choice. It's hard to make it in 4 years as an athlete. So
exactly. My brother didn't have that excuse, but he's, I think he partied too hard for a semester there or
uh-huh.
something. Really, you want to make the decision of, am I holding this for 4 years? If I am, what is my exit strategy? I want to be strategic. You want to take the emotion out of the investment and really make sure that you have that plan. If it's a longer term plan, we can account for that as well. But again, this is why we say, call us, let us run the numbers, let us talk through it with you, to really make sure that it works with your financial plan.
So I'm gonna put this out there because you have a heart like I do for giving and helping. And this is exactly what we're doing. If you do not reach out to us and you have your own financial planner or you have your own realtor, that's fine. Just make sure you reach out to them.
Yes.
We would love for you to call us, obviously, but we're doing this to help people understand that there is a whole investment world out there at these college campuses that are just people are not realizing the benefit of it. I mean, you can, from what I'm looking at, you can get your housing not only paid for, but you can make a considerable chunk of change paying for part of the college as well by the end of the 4 years or 5 years, whatever your tolerance is for keeping it in the market. So, well, do you have anything else that you would like to add?
No, I say that, make sure you're working with a group of, really great support staff to help you out, advisors. If it's not us, grab people that you trust in your circle that can really run these numbers. It's great to take the emotion out of this. There's so much emotion involved where it comes to sending your kid to school. What does that look like? And if we can help offload some of that stress and make it more data driven, we're happy to do that and run the numbers to make sure that you and your kid have a successful time in school.
And that's what I'm here for too, is to make it a
Yeah.
very easy transition. So
Yeah.
thank you so, so much for stopping in with me today and having this conversation. I think it will help a lot of people.
Yeah.
We'll keep things updated as far as the market goes and all that good stuff and have some more blogs out there. But I just wanted to thank you for doing this very first one. You're my very first interview, so I'm excited.
Yes, of course. I'm happy to be with you. And anything that comes up, please don't hesitate to drop me a line, give me a call.
Thank you.